and this is a very common thing to see with businesses, as traffic increases, typically you see more leads, more conversions, because more people are searching. Everybody has a phone. If I have a need, or if I'm looking up something, what are you going to do? You're going to pull out your phone and you're going to search it. And that really is the whole point of having positive search engine optimization and also ranking higher in Google, is it's going to make you money. It really, and it's just the basic stuff that I talked about that really a lot of people overlook, and that can actually help you quite a bit.
How much is the Google budget? Yeah.
Sorry?
What's our budget?
I can't release that, unfortunately. So, client confidentiality, but we'll save for the time at the end. Now, I can answer questions. Perfect. It's like, damn. Sorry, I can't release budgets, so I do have client confidentiality.
The range.
I can't release. Sorry. Well, typically a campaign can range anywhere from $300 to $700. Typically, it's on a monthly basis, but it really does range. So, and every business is different, and the main thing is you can't look at it as a budget, because say if you have a website that you've had the domain since like 1990, you're going to be much better off than say somebody that's starting off with 2 months on the web. So there's a lot of variables that go into budget. So it's harder. Like every business is different online. Every business is different. So typically we have to analyze. Yeah.
It's affordable and hoarded. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks. Sorry, you had another question?
Yes.
Yeah.
What if your niche is so small, like in a real case, like hypnodontics, the hypnosis in dentistry?
Yeah.
The click-through, the number of searches is very low.
Right.
So what's the solution?
So typically you look for contextually relevant items, right? So with hypnosis like dentistry?
Yeah.
So you basically link with other things. So you can increase, you can do blogging strategies, content marketing strategies. There's quite a few different ways, but it's whatever's contextually relevant. So dentistry is a very wide, broad search query. So depending on how focused you are on that one keyword would probably be the reason why you're not seeing as much traffic as you could. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and how about display networks? Is it a good alternative?
You can spend a lot of money on display networks. To be honest, normally I don't start on display unless a client comes to me with maybe $2,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 a month. You do see a lot of bot traffic through display, but that's just my recommendation. You can really start off with display all you want. I just find that search you find more qualified. Display is like YouTube, right? So I can display ads through there. It's like the second largest search engine in the world or whatever, but you can spend a ton of money. Like I've had some really brutal conversations when I start with clients telling them about display, and it's tough sometimes. So I have a hard time. Like remarketing does use display or retargeting, but every business is different. So I would recommend just sticking with search myself. You're going to find more business for that.
So let's say, I have my own business and I sign a contract with you. Like I want you to help me market my business.
Sure.
What is like the first thing you're gonna start with? And sorry for the dumb question because I'm kind of new.
Honestly, don't worry about it. Totally, it's really common.
Everything's kind of confusing with SEO and all those other terms. But what is the first thing you typically start with?
So the first thing is I need to find out where you are. So without knowing where you are at one point, like how new you are, what industry you're in, do you have a website? Is there any data on your website? Typically, I need to do more research into the business itself because really that is the most important thing. Once I know about the business, like say who you are, who you market to, and all that, or who is your target audience, then normally I draft up a proposal and I say this is what I recommend. Every client I deal with is unique. I draft up customized plans for every single client because every business is different, right? So, and I take into considerations your needs and wants and stuff like that. So it really ranges. There's quite a lengthy process. So,
but if I have a retail business and I just kind of want to increase my ranking up on Google and just other sites, is that what
Yep.
Is that what you specialize in?
Yep. Yeah. So basically, I would look through where you are right now. So I would definitely do a report, say this is where you are. It's free. So I'd be happy to do it. Look where you are. Say this is where you are. This is my recommendations. Here's a proposal. And then if it works for you, great. If not, you know where you are. So. That's typically how I start.
And like, is that like just something about keywords? Is it like very typical, like nowadays, like people are searching for things like just through like keywords or something, and sort of like, again, to the dumb question, is it like with keywords everybody's finding out what they want?
Right. So typically it's the most obvious answer. So say if I'm looking for like restaurants North Vancouver.
Like an Italian restaurant or something?
Exactly, right? I have a need, right? So I'm looking at it for a specific area and it works. And it really ranges, right? So I typically can't really recommend any way to go until I know what the business is, who they do, what they work with, and then as well, kind of where they are. And then at least I know and I say, hey, it's like, this is what you gotta do. This is the way you should go. But you normally find a lot, there's so much information in analytics. So if you have it running, like you're already off to a great start. If not, I'd highly suggest recommending to start it. So, but yeah, like I'd be happy to talk with you more after, so, yeah.
When you're doing a campaign and you're going to also focus on Google Local, is that 2 campaigns or 1?
It's 2 campaigns. So Google Local is different. So Google Local pulls off of Google Maps.
Yeah.
So like that's typically a little bit different. So normally I focus mainly on just the AdWords and everything else. Local is a little bit more complex. So
Can you give us a little understanding of how to do a Google Local campaign, like maybe a minute or 2? Or?
well, you need a Google Plus page, and
Sure.
you need a registered business on Google My Business. You basically, you know,
Would you advise that? I mean, is that something you recommend?
yeah, like everything is becoming more and more location-based, right? Like mobile search is essentially making it so that area is a huge thing. It's a massive, massive thing. So the first thing that businesses don't have is they don't have a verified local business. Like that's the start. Like you go to Google My Business, you register it, they send you a code, you input the code. You're gonna go up leaps and bounds just from that. So going from there, you know, there's review strategies, there is click-through strategies. There's a whole whack of different ways to do it. You can also do AdWords campaigns that also include local and location-based searches.
How do I get to the local campaign? Like this, when you go into like AdWords,
Right.
Is there like a Google Local specific campaign?
So you have to have email that's associated with the Google My Business account, and it's basically a site link.
Okay.
So there's a few processes to do that, but really a lot of times businesses just haven't verified local business. And you'd be on page like 14, you do that, you're probably page like 3 right after that. It's really, really common to see that, so that would be my suggestion. Thank you. Perfect. Any?
Google Analytics has paid services too. Have you ever used them?
I have not. I do know of it. I haven't used it, so I can't see it being that much, but I just haven't seen the need. Every client I create a specific account for them, so that if they want access to it, it works. Yeah, honestly, like I haven't seen the need to spend money, but yeah, as you said, like you can always go in and look. Like they have surveys and a few other paid services too, so I just haven't had too much experience with it. So yeah.
Another quick question: are you using Universal Analytics?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. It's been upgraded to Universal, right? So yeah, standard.
I've got a question about lead feeder, because I'm using lead feeder and I can have an idea about who has visited the website but he or she is not converted. Is there any way that through Google Analytics I can have an idea who in an organization has met the website? Because
inside of the local organization?
Yeah.
No, because the IPs are probably merged, right? Because if you have a local organization, you have one IP typically, or one router potentially. So do you have like a large organization?
Yeah.
Like, is it, because the whole thing is IPs, right? So, if you have one router, then I only have one IP, so it's, every session goes into that one.
Based on demographics and age and such things?
So like through retargeting is what you're saying. Yeah, you could do that too if you use the retargeting campaign. It's going to be compounded a bit because of one IP potentially. So that's where I could see issues come from it. You can, if they're external, like say if they're looking from from just the website from their home, you can identify them by city.
Right.
So then if you know that they're coming from a city, or say certain pages and links, typically tracking links are the easiest. So if you can send them a tracking link, then you can actually set that up in the custom form in analytics. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, next.
I have a client who uses a WordPress site and someone who suggested to her that she should be using Google Tags Manager.
Sure.
From that, is that something that's worth using at all, or?
Depends on the business. Like,
Yeah.
once again, it's kind of like a customized fit. I haven't used or seen the need too much for Tag Manager,
Yeah.
but
It's a health and wellness site.
yeah, but for like multiple services, or like what's the goal?
It's more specific to one area of health and wellness, so it's fine. But it's more that they already have Google Analytics integrated into the
Right.
site already. But it's one of those things where her friend said that they should use that, so she wanted.
So what's their goal? To get more traffic?
Yes.
It depends on ranking, right?
Yeah.
So,
Sure. Okay.
like, there's quite a few factors that go into it. I would probably just, if they're not ranking high, then that's where I put my focus,
Okay.
as opposed to going to something, because Google Tag Manager, they actually have a course out right now for Google Tag Manager.
Okay.
They're doing a lot of training for it, but right now it's not necessarily going to yield more than, in my opinion.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
For a query like digital marketing in Vancouver, it
Sure.
says 50 people who paid for AdWords. How does Google?
Great question. Really good question. So that's to do with quality score. So this goes back to relevancy and everything else. So the higher you rank in a quality score, so like what your page is, keywords, all that type of stuff, and how relevant you are, the less you pay and the higher that you will rank. So the closer that you get to 10 out of 10, the higher that you'll get in Google advertising, essentially. So if there's 50 people, you're not going to get served every time anyways. Like you can run different campaigns to get served every time, but yeah, it's kind of one of those things, like the higher you get the quality score ranking, the more likely you're going to be shown more often, as well as pay less, as well as be higher than everyone else. So typically quality score is my biggest one, but you can always increase ad spend. But that's the benefit of having a higher quality score. You can increase ad spend.
Would you prefer organic search or paid search?
I prefer both. I normally, where you have a high ranking organic search, typically you do also complement that with paid. But it really does range. So if they have limited budget, typically organic does see better. But paid is still really good too. Like, really most SEO campaigns do include an AdWords part to it, and they complement themselves really well. But normally, like say if I rank really high in organic, you'll see a percentage that will come through that will just be looking for your phone number. They're already be existing clients, and they just want to click the first thing, right? So you have to be kind of careful of that too, because you'll probably spend, like if you're spending $75 a click,